And we said, this is it now. Let's go and block. Now we have to strengthen the defense. And then it was only 5 minutes, and then the whole game was ended. And then we said, at the end of the day, this was good luck because BA was about at least to beat us, honestly speaking. But the organization of the coach really saved us on that given day. And up to now, even I still think that he was the guy who was supposed at least to be praised, or at the end of the day, African Star today talk about Jaripe Yogi, but at the end of the day, that is the guy who made it happen.
Exactly.
Yeah. From there, actually, I even left the country shortly because that was in 74, 75. Yeah, that was 74 when we played the game around October. But then 75, I left
That was 74.
Yeah, I left around 75 September then. And then I started, I didn't even play serious football. We played in Botswana. We created a team, for refugees. Those were just our local team. But we managed to play against Tafik and Tafa, all those, Notwani, all those big teams. But then this team was at least supported by a certain South African gentleman who had, he left, he was an ANC guy who left the country before us, and he was a businessman. And then he was sponsoring us to play, around the place. But then after some time, we didn't stay long. I left. I went to the Namibia Institute, which we had in Zambia, where our former president was actually the head of administration. And there we even created our own school team, playing against the lecturers. But it was not serious. But then we realized that a certain gentleman called, I think he was an administrator also, but a Zambian guy. He's a member of the Lusaka Tiger. At that time, there was a team called the Lusaka Tiger. He decided that they can try these two guys, me and Mike Morangi, just to join the club and then play with him. But we didn't play seriously because we were still concentrating on our school. And that was one of the problems, that we could not make it full time, and therefore most of the time was just devoted to our studies. I left the country also, Zambia, went to Germany. But in Germany also, I didn't even play serious football because of my studies again. By that time, I was already also politicized, meaning that for me, football was a second fiddle. It was not something really by that time which I could concentrate on, as I realized that no. First of all, once I come back home, I will just maybe not even having any qualification, and by that time, you may not even be able to help yourself. Football is not even a game of, let's say, continuous, playing, or continuous, being on top of it. Because as you age, or as you become older, you become even weaker. And you may even end up, serious injuries. I remember some of our guys like Ben Kaweo was having almost knee problems each and every time until he had to give up. That is when we realized that no, this is a short-term fix. As you age, you need at least to have something alternative, something to do.
You did not stay long in the game, unfortunately, you used the government to further your academic aspirations. And I'm sure a lot of people don't know about you, but you will go down as a legend of African Stars. You were part of the golden generation, the team that solidified African Stars as a force to be reckoned in domestic football. So now you came back, and you've been, I'm sure you watched a couple of matches and so on. So what is your impression of the strength of the squad, of the type of football? I know a lot of dynamics have changed in football. What is your impression?
Carlos, I think having played football myself here locally, I've realized that our game of yesterday was a different type of ball game.
In terms of talent?
In terms of expressive football. Players who can play expressive football are players whom you can watch and who are so versatile in the game. And we have got people like, Ben Cameo, Mengo, Oscar Fox. These guys, normally, they have got talent. And you have to play around them. As a team, you know, it's almost like when you watch a team like Manchester City. You see these people are playing around Haaland, that Norwegian. And they know that once you have got Bernardo will play the game or the ball to Foden. Foden will know that I have to squeeze it somewhere so that Haaland can take it. And this is the type of football which normally is lacking here. There are players who have got talent, but the talent need to be around certain players at certain times. Because you know that some of the guys are sharpshooters. If you've got a sharpshooter, why don't you use him at that time when you know that he's good? But what I've realized is that football in this country has reached a level, but the level they have reached, it's a professional level.
Quality.
Yeah, but the quality of football is different. Because, with us, we were playing for nothing at the end of the day. We were just playing for pride. But then that pride was a competition type of football. You have to compete with other guys, and even with other teams. But now, you find today's players, they are so comfortable in terms of placement. They know that my place is guaranteed, and therefore the next team I will be in the squad. But that is one of the problems we are having, that expressive players who can at least play versatile are lacking. And I had a chance to play with people like the one I mentioned, the Mengos, the Pepis. Those guys, at the end of the day, they were not good players. For instance, Simba Fox was good at opening up the defense. That's one of his specialties. He cannot shoot, he's not a sharpshooter, he's not what, but that is a specialization. And that is why...
He was very intelligent.
Yeah, intelligent. And the same applies to Ben Kawaya. That gentleman was so good, but he used his head, and we used to call him Onyoka, because he's so fast in terms of tricks. And that is why I'm saying that expressive players are just the key you need. You need to know that by this time, once we announce almost at the end of the game, if we want to win the game, we have to use whoever. You see, that's a very important thing, because you know that if I place my ball at this moment, second, that ball will be in. But you need this kind of players. You find that players like I've seen a lot of players like, for instance, Kapama, who is now playing in Botswana.
Yeah.
He's a very short guy, but but if you give him a chance in that midfield, you see how hard-working he is. And he's a versatile player. Even although he's left-handed, in the midfield, he handled the midfield again. And the other one is Ibondi or whatever from Attack or something. Those guys are good players, but the players they have to play around, because these are midfielders, and you need to fit them. If there are people who are strikers and they don't link up with you, automatically you become futile, you become useless. You can at least be a good midfielder, but whom are you going to supply? And that is why I said Keller made our winning just around the same thing. Strengthen the midfield, automatically. If you've got midfielder and you've got a key person, like a striker whom automatically you will have a score. And this is the type of football I was expecting from from today's players. But it's a bit lacking, but as they become professional and there are academies and all these things, I think at the end of the day, they are on the right track. Because at the end of the day, with more training, more exposure, I think it will make a difference. And as you see, we had a game here, the African Cup, when we played against Mali. Mali game was the best apart from the one of Tunisia. Tunisia for me was a fluke. It was just a fluke because we just got a score by chance. But the game they played against Mali showed that we have got talent and we've got professionals to be also upgraded. And the more we invest in them, I think they will become even excellent.
Fast forward, let me quickly take it back. During the time we were playing for African Stars, in between two teams, Golden and High. I remember you played for Golden. And then later there was animosity between the two teams, and the elders had to come in. Can you talk a little bit about that?
That almost was a crisis in the team, because African Star was about to break up, because we had, as I said, we had more than 50 players. In African Star by that time, I think we were not even, let's say, having other players exported or imported from somewhere. And as I said, we have to have a team, just a local team apart from African Star, just to play against each other. And that is when the whole thing started. The whole thing started as a joke. Okay, we are just training, and later it became a problem that most of our defense were part of the high, as you said. The team.
I played for the
Yeah, and you are right. Those are the defensive players, and most of our strikers, the Ben, the Oscar, the me, and everybody were forgotten. And that is the crisis which almost happened, because the defense at that time was so critical in playing. These guys, you could not even pass them. Either you fall or you break. And this thing became a sort of a war.
Yes,
Yeah, in the war, and it's even a war which could carry on a year of attrition, because it was continuously happening. And then people realized that these young boys, they would just break the team. Or the ones, we let them go on, they will create a crisis. And then they came in, and the whole thing was disbanded. And then we went back to the zero. But the most important thing also, apart from those two teams you are talking about, there was a team which was created by the guys, Flames, who came from Suicide. That team was almost created as a new team, and then most of the players also, they wanted players who were playing. Yeah, he played there, even myself, I even passed there once. Yeah, and then all these other guys were just now drawn by these guys, but then only because we could not get places in African Star. As I said, there were 50 almost players, and therefore everybody was fighting to get a place. But then these guys called us back one by one, because there was now even tension between the whole thing, almost fights. At times there were almost fights, physical fights, because that tension was now part of the whole game now between the two teams, because it was a role-based teams again, ethnically, But at the end of the day, Flame became also defunct, because at the end of the day, we got even players like Oscar back, and then with that guy, when we harassed him to get him back.
No, I remember Oscar used to juggle between these two teams. To the extent that he was given the name Ethnic Chameleon. Can you still remember?
You are right. But this was at the beginning, because he continuously played that game of going back. Because he was, Flames could not do anything without him.
Yes.
And therefore, these guys even somehow, it's only that at that time we were not having any monetary gains, but if there were, this guy would have even become even one of the top.
I don't know whether you may recall that Hosea Kutabo Cup in Chihuahua. Oscar Mego went with African Stars. For some other reason, the Flames guy managed to smooth talk him, and he played for Flames, and they won the cup. They played against African Stars in the final. They won 1-0.
No, that game is the game which almost, that was the first, game which we lost against them. Because they were having a sort of a plan, which was, I think we played the first game and then it was postponed. And when we went to Chihuahua, these guys came with other players such as Lowe and other BA players.
Yeah, the guy who scored the goal was Goti.
Yeah, look, they were having several players from other teams, and this is how they beat us. And then at the end of the day, we were expecting at least to win the game, but because all the best players we brought in, we could not make it. And then that is how we lost the game 1-0. But at the end of the day, we realized that this is because of the tension which was between the team, and by that time there were no registration of players. That players that belong to this team, the therefore BA players and all these things were just part of the game. And then we said, what can we do? But that is one of the team, another game we lost, and it was a painful, sort of a loss, because we knew that what was happening, it's unfair, but what can you do? by that time football was not better organized. And the other thing also, I just want to take you back to the issue of the first $1,000 you were talking about Namibian rand by that time. You see, when those guys were selected, there was a selection of the Namibian team, Southwest team, which had to play it.
In balance,
Yes. And these guys who were selected were only two from African side because all other teams were also supposed to contribute players. Kaika.
As a final Oscar.
Yeah, but Kaika and from our team, it was Kaika and Memo. And when they came back, those guys, they were completely tired because the next week, it's when we played the game after the game. And that game, it's why it was taken, put on top of, let's say it was us who were local, to at least to try to help them. Because this, for instance, Mengo was completely tired.
No.
Kaika was also tired.
Let me take you a little bit back. That game, Oscar Mengo and Bruce Ego were already playing for Kaiser Chiefs.
Yeah.
And they came in and they were a little bit of commotion as these guys should not play because they are professionals. But I think, and then they were given permission to play. Yes.
Yeah. But he was part of the African Star team.
He was already gone to South Africa.
No, by that time it was 60, 76, 75.
Yes.
No, 75, 74. 74 is when the game was played in New England. And then at the end of the day, apart from that, what I wanted at least to highlight is that those guys came back with energy lost because they've been playing football for the whole week.
Oscar Mengo and then played in the Ibana Cup in 1974. They won the Ibana Cup. And it was late in 1974, and I think early 75 they signed the Kaiser Chiefs. The Dave Kaiser Cup, the Dave Cup was in 1975.
That is where your mistake is. 74, you will make your research about it, do your research a bit. I left 75. Dave Cup was played around September, October there, of 74. Then I stopped playing football. But that one we can at least still sign out, don't worry. But by that time, Oscar was now part of the African staff. And Kaika, both of them were selected. And you see, that is where we started, because we used to fight against each other, committee. Some of us, like Ben and me, we were even saying that why are we not selected? Because Herbert, Kondrati favored you or what? Because these are the guys who were running the football with. But what, you are not better than us. This was the argument. And then when they went, that is when they came back. That was why I even insisted that I would like to get into this team, the one of the days you are talking about. And that was where the whole thing started. Those guys, even they could not even do much, especially Memo. Because those guys were exhausted, having played a week, and then the next week, that was Saturday or Friday, they had to play 3 games a day. You know that we were playing 2 or 3 games a day, and how do you get a person after you've been playing, the Southwest team, came, and then you are now expected to play 3 games a day. But at the end of the day, we managed to win. That's one thing I wanted just to highlight. Those were our key players. But despite them being so exhausted, we had that,
That victory, what did it mean for the team?
Oh, my dear.
I remember we had a party there at Willie Chongaredo's house after that match. And it was kind of an ethnic pride more than anything else.
But you've got a good memory anyway. The point is that after the game, everybody was completely excited. And that is not only the player. Apart from our players, the whole supporters club was up in the air that this is it, we made it. And imagine being, the first monetary sort of game for teams. It was really something which everybody was happy and excited about it. And then that party you are talking about was just organized to make us feel that, hey, guys, we've done something. And at that given party, that is where we were at least given some monetary gains of 25 rand by that time. And, for me, as a player, that was the high level, the apex of my football playing or career. At the end of the day, I realized that this I've achieved what I wanted. What more? Because I've even told you that I wanted to prove to the coach that despite the fact that I didn't even, let's say, attend the training, I will make it. But that was a bad manner, which we really realized.
What made you to be a rebel? I mean,
No, it's a very, very unfortunate situation because as you grow up and you become big-headed. I was a good player, but even at one time I realized that, oh my dear, I've reached the apex. Because as you know, the political situation itself, maybe let me just give you something. If football, or by that time, if we were independent, by that time, if most of us could have played somewhere, even in some of these top leagues, like English Premier League or whatever, Spain or Syria, because the level of football was so high, and we reached a time when you said that what more can I do to prove? But the system could not allow you, meaning that the political aspect of it had an influence on people like me. I was already politicized, and I realized that what more can I do? Therefore, I was just rebelling against everything. That no, I have to do something. That is why I decided to go, because by that time I said, no man, in this country there is no hope even to do anything. Because football was my life, honestly speaking, by that time. Apart from being student and all these things, because the student politics came also in, I said, no, there is no future for this country. Therefore, let me go and start somewhere else.
Where did the interest come from? You were as a footballer. A lot of footballers
Yeah.
are really involved in politics, except from probably students from MLH and Pilbara. But suddenly now you develop an interest in politics. You skip the country, and
People were wondering.
football career was over.
People were wondering that, hey, did this guy, former footballer, leave the country as a politician? You see what happened? Politics, for us, like the people who were, let's say, born in their own location, is part or was part of our upbringing. You see, you remember that even the 59, let's say, massacre of our people in their own location. By that time, our mothers were just pushing us under the beds, and you could hear bullets on top of the herbs. And then at the end of the day, it shows that politics was already in our vein. And when I came to Katutura and I joined the Agustinum, there was this student sort of politics. The discrimination, the sort of bad treatment at the Agustinum. Therefore, we got involved in the strike and all these things. And Otamadis, having now realized that this country is heading towards this direction, therefore there was no hope anymore to stay here and play football. Football, I've done everything, I've achieved what I wanted. But now, how do I go and become even better player, or even have some monetary sort of gain from my career? That's one of the things which even influence a number of people that no man, you will just do nothing as long as you are staying in this country. You will reach a certain apex and that's all. And therefore, I was not influenced by, football to go and play football outside. But by now, the political conviction that, no, I have to go and do my studies. And when I come back, maybe I will make a contribution to my people. And that is the socio-economic upliftment of our people. That is what influenced me most.
1968, when we came from home location, you were one of the guys we found in Katutura. And we were alone, we in the majority. You guys were a little bit more streetwise than us, or let's say wiser, you could speak Afrikaans, we couldn't speak Afrikaans. So how was the integration like with the other guys who came from home location? I think you guys look a little bit down on us.
No, you are partly right, because most of our guys who were in the first group, which we were, forcefully removed from, the whole location, we joined people like the others who were coming from the Eros. There was another location also. And these guys were mixed with different groups. Most of the problem with our